Oh wow, that was a really long and totally unnecessary intro. Hi there, Coach J again of VO2 Max Productions here with another training talk. Today we're going to talk about 5K training and racing. And I've done some videos on this in the past. Mainly it was 5K, 10K, half marathon training. Because a lot of the base phase that goes into your training kind of is the same basically, and I'll get into that in this training talk. But then also 5K racing tactics, just the demands of the event specific to the 5K event. And it's a brutal event. It's almost all out, 100% maximum aerobic capacity, VO2 max type of event. It's very demanding, it's very painful. I've raced a number in my days, in my career, not as much now, but just growing up racing Oregon cross country in high school as well as on the track in college, and then some road racing. I know a lot of you maybe are younger. If you're in school, high school cross country, you do 5K or 3 miles, or if you're in college, obviously it's a collegiate distance event on the track, but you also might be an ultra runner or a marathon runner and you do 5K or 10K road races to work on your speed and things like that, or open track meets, so things like that. So it's a great event to talk about, and I kind of want to get into the training in this talk, as well as how to run your best 5K or fastest 5K performance. Because I get a lot of questions on it, so really do appreciate all the comments coming in, and please subscribe if you haven't already. But here we go. So basically, my background in the 5K, I wasn't a great 5K runner in college especially, but growing up in high school, I did run a number of 5Ks cross country, even on the track too. And best in high school was pretty decent in the state of Oregon. I ran 15:17 for 5K. We can see some clip of that race there. The problem was I was in the same league, or the same state division, as a guy named Galen Rupp. Some of you may know his name. He's kind of a big deal now. Way better than me, totally different class. So then you get to college and you think you're smart and fast, and you realize you're kind of dumb and slow, especially Division 1 in the US here, NCAA Division 1. I ran in track, wasn't really that much of a force at 5K, more of a 10K runner and marathon runner, but did run a 14:29 indoor track. Got third at conference. There's a picture from that. But yeah, that's just my background in the 5K. That's actually my lifetime PR still, is 14:29. And it was kind of frustrating because there were definitely guys in high school who ran slower than me, and guys that were also blue chip recruits coming into the university system that were really fast 2-milers. We had a couple guys that were sub 9:10 2-milers on my team. Some of them ran faster than me, some of them ran slower. Some guys that ran 9:40 for 2 miles in high school ended up running close to 14 flat, or a sub 14 minute 5K. So you never know what your potential is, I guess is what I'm saying. But it's definitely a demanding event in terms of speed, in terms of having a high VO2 max or aerobic capacity, as well as having quite a bit of endurance, because it's still 3.1 miles long. So the demands in training for your fastest 5K really stem from if you're moving up from the mile or 2 mile to racing 5K as a longer distance race, or if you're moving down from, say, if you're more experienced at racing half marathons or something like that. But general base building, aerobic base building, several months out from your key 5K race is very similar. You want to train more like a marathon runner, and it's the same thing that Arthur Lyniard has preached for decades about building a big aerobic base with lots of easy pace, moderate running, generally higher mileage running. The mileage really helps. Like, for example, in high school, I started running cross country. I was running 20 or 30 miles a week only. But over the years, sophomore, junior year, senior year, I was getting up 30, 40 miles a week. 50 miles a week type of range average, and that helps your 5K a lot more. So I know a lot of you are probably pressed for time. You know, if you're running 20 miles a week, racing some 5Ks, if you start running 30 miles a week, 40 miles a week, and you don't get injured, you don't want to get injured, just an easy aerobic base building running, conversational pace most of the time, you could generally improve your 5K time, especially if you have a faster marathon time relative to your 5K performance, or your faster mile, all-out mile time relative to your 5K performance is what I should say. I think I said it right there. I don't know if I said mile or marathon. It's been a long day. But yeah, you need to get a lot of endurance, and a lot of that comes from the aerobic system, and it's something that really impacts all distance running performances basically. So you're doing long runs. The long run might be shorter than other people's long run. It depends on your weekly mileage mainly, but general rule of thumb is to go at least probably, I mean, if you really want to maximize your 5K performance, we were doing 15, 18 mile long runs in college, racing 5Ks, but we were also running 100 miles a week. So, you know, if you're running, just say 30 miles a week, maybe one of your long runs is, you know, 12 or 13 miles. Probably be better if you're running 35 or 40 miles a week. Long run's a half marathon once every 10 days or once every week or two in this base building phase, because that's going to give you that extra endurance to pull out more of your speed. Then also a blend of speed as you get closer to your 5K peak. You know, you have to still be doing the 20-minute tempo run, for example, 20 minutes at 85% maximum heart rate, maximum effort. So a steady state type of run, as Arthur Lanyard would say. And you know, you could rotate in hill repeat workouts, you could rotate in faster track stuff. You will eventually, to reach your 5K peak performance, key interval workouts, VO2 max so to speak, types of workouts that are really going to build specific speed endurance for the 5K event would be like going to the track, doing 800 meter repeats, you know, let's say 8 by 800 meters at goal 5K pace with a 2-minute rest, 3-minute rest in between. Or something that if you make the interval longer, 1,000 meter repeats, 1 kilometer repeats, it's 2.5 laps around the track. That was my go-to workout doing 5Ks. And depending on your weekly volume, your weekly mileage, maybe you're doing 6 by 1,000. Generally I was doing 8 by 1,000. It's kind of my bread and butter type of workout. The thing is, when you do 8, you can't do them quite as fast sometimes, but you don't want to do them all as fast. You want to do them around 90-95% maximum heart rate. Maybe in the last one you're blasting as hard as you can, practicing your finishing kick and really closing down that last 200. But it doesn't need to be an all-out type of workout, and you don't want to run them uneven pace. You don't want to go too fast on the first rep and then slow down. You want to be able to run at a controlled effort. And generally, if you get dialed in with your 5K pace, you could say, hey, this is my 5K goal pace. I'm gonna run these kilometer repeats at this. And generally, a lot of people could run interval workouts way faster than what they could string together for 5 in a row, but that's why you do 8 by a kilometer. And then as you evolve with longer VO2 max type of workout, interval workouts, you know, mile repeats are real bread and butter. For some people, it's pretty long to be running close to VO2 max if you're running significantly over 6 minutes per mile, but just running at 90% max heart rate, just running them at, you know, 10K pace, or maybe current 5K race pace, and you're running 3 by a mile, 4 by a mile, is definitely a great workout. As well as fartleks, the combinations of workouts you could do to develop speed for the 5K is pretty exhaustive, so I'll kind of keep it at that. But generally, you're going to need a good mix of speed workouts. Generally, those are track intervals, as well as the tempo runs. Again, 20 minutes tempo. If you don't know these terms, check out my other videos on this channel. Try to link to a tempo run video there. That's going to be key too. It's going to be slower than your race pace. You don't have to run fast every day, but it gives you that endurance, that stamina at lactate threshold, which is really important still. So it's helping build your aerobic system, your whole efficiency of your heart and lungs and blood flow. And then, you know, moving into, you could be doing even faster stuff. We recommend doing strides. Strides after easy days, strides 2 or 3 times a week to get that leg turnover up. I mean, you want to be able to move your legs pretty fast, get up to 200 steps a minute, see what that feels like, doing 100-meter strides just for mobility, good running form, things like that. Just 4 by 100 meters, full recovery in between. It's not a hard workout. It's just to build speed. It's to learn how to run relaxed at mile race pace or 800 meter race pace even. So it makes 5K pace feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more slow. And then doing the long runs, but holding higher consistent mileage over time is really going to give you the big gains. And most of that mileage, again, that you're adding onto your week is very relaxed, very slow, very easy paced mileage, because you don't want to hurt yourself. And if you start ramping up variables in your training too fast, too soon, you could easily get an overuse injury or be overtraining and things like that. Likewise, you can't be doing hard, intense intervals more than really 2 times a week, or you're gonna probably burn yourself out, kind of literally and figuratively burn yourself out. A lot of burnout's mental, but also your fitness will go up, but then it'll kind of just peter off, and then you'll crash and burn eventually. So that's kind of the whole training take on 5K running. Again, what Arthur Lanyard preached years ago was train like a marathon runner, build your aerobic base, get your high mileage up, get in some long runs, then start working on a little speed, then shift into specific focus for your event. And he was training Peter Snell, who was a 800 meter runner, 1500 meter runner in the Olympics, and that guy was doing like 22-mile long runs with the marathon runners. So it just kind of goes to show how you build that strength to pull out most of your speed. Because anyone could go to the track right away and start doing really hard intervals all the time. Their fitness is going to improve quite a bit. In 3 to 4 weeks, hard interval training, you get your fitness up pretty fast, but you're going to plateau. And that's the problem, is you need more and more strength eventually if you want long-term steady improvement over time. And a lot of people have plenty of speed to run a good 5K. They just need to work more on their endurance. And that goes all the way up with 10K, marathon, half marathon, and other events. But race tactics. Now this is part 2 of the talk. Generally, if you're running a 5K road race or track race, even on most cross-country courses that are pretty tame, if the surface is pretty level, there's no big hills later on in the race, even split is going to be your most efficient way to run a fast time. Pretty even pacing and pretty consistent mile splits. If you break the race into thirds, 5K is 3.12 miles long, so you look at it as first mile, second mile, third mile. I know my metric friends probably look at it in even 5 kilometers, which is a good way to do it too. When you're racing on the track, the splits never lie, so you can get every 400 meters if you want, or 200 meters, whatever. But generally, even pacing is going to be your best bet. And I'd say don't bank on a kick. When we raced in track, a lot of times guys would wait till the last 400 meters, the last 200 meters, even the last 800 meters, and that's like they're going to launch their attack. Well, if you're time trialing, if you're going for a fast time, you don't save for that. You just try to maintain pace in the last mile. And generally, racing cross country, for example, usually people sprint out, especially in high school, sprint out really fast the first 200 meters, 400 meters, and they put themselves kind of in a hole because you're already breathing really hard. Maybe you have some lactate in your legs. You're already kind of tying up. And then you slow down. And that first mile splits fast because you went out the first 400 meters pretty fast. But then the second mile legs, the second mile slows down, and that's when I'd make my move. I'd press hard the second mile, right in the middle of the race when people are kind of tired, but you still have a long way to go. Really focus on running that second mile hard, and then just try to hold on the third mile. Now, depending on your strengths and weaknesses, maybe that's not the best strategy for you, but again, I think most people leg that second mile, force the issue in the second mile, focus to maintain pace, and let your heart carry you through that last kilometer or the last 2K. And don't bank on a kick. A lot of times, if it's a really close finish, it'll be determined by a kick. Don't get me wrong, but if you're going for big time improvement, that second mile is usually the one that legs. And then being really tough in the last mile, of course, or the last part of the race, is going to be really important. But yeah, generally it's going to keep your lactate levels the most even. Well, they're not going to be even. It's going to be going up. Your muscles, the fatigue, everything's increasing kind of exponentially, even holding an even pace. And mentally, the mental strength, the mental tolerance for pain, it's going to require a harder and harder effort usually as you go along in the race. even though you're running even splits. But if you go out way too fast in the first minute and put yourself in a hole, you could be slowing down the rest of the race, and your splits could go 6 minutes the first mile, and then 6:30 the second mile, and then 7 minutes the third mile, and you're running, I don't know what that is for a 5K, but over 18 minutes, over 19 minutes, when you could have gone out in 6:20 and held 6:20 all the way through. Something like that, for example, would be a better pace strategy. So you could analyze that, and it takes a while to learn. I learned a lot the hard way, just racing cross country in school, but and also racing on the track. But build your ability to pace yourself, learn through track workouts what's kind of tolerable, and learn your body and just kind of feel it out. That's kind of the best pace strategy for 5K races. And don't follow other people, because they'll sprint out ahead of you, and just know that you have the mental discipline to catch them in the middle of the race, hopefully pull even with them, and then blow their doors off in the last kilometer if you could just close hard and maintain. But yeah, that's my take on 5K training and 5K racing. Thank you so much for all the support, all the feedback, all the comments. Be sure to comment on this video for future training talk topics, as well as vote. Give it a thumbs up if you like the topic, or write your own comment. Open to all sorts of criticisms or feedback. I really do appreciate all the comments. I don't have time to get back to all of them, but I do read almost all of them. So I do appreciate all the comments, and as well as your subscriptions. We finally hit over 40,000 subscribers on here, which I'm really psyched about. Let's go for 50,000 now in the near future, hopefully. Really thank you to all the supporters on Patreon. It's allowed me to put more time into this channel, as well as get some new camera gear for more adventure videos and different types of videos. Always open to suggestions on there as well. Check it out, patreon.com/sagerunning. Thank you so much, guys. You can follow me on social media at SageCanada on Twitter and Instagram. I got a Facebook athlete fan page. Appreciate all the support on there as well. Hope your spring training's going well, and stay tuned for more VO2 Max Productions.